Now, moving on to Section 3, I would like to ask everyone's opinion on what OIST should do with regard to establishing an R&D cluster in Okinawa. Starting with Mr. Tsukamoto and all the way down to Julie, I would like to ask each panelist this question. I personally haven't had a lot of interaction with OIST in the past. All I knew about it was that it was led by accomplished professors and that it was recruiting famous researchers from around the world. OIST is known to a certain degree in the world of science, but the fact that an eminent research institute was created in Japan is not something that's widely known, even in Japan. In fact, more people may know about it internationally than within Japan. So, in many respects, there's actually many expectations tied to this institute. Thus, it is important that within Japan, people are more aware that such a great institute was created in their own country. And if Okinawa served as the hub that connected Japanese clusters to the rest of the world, and the university, the prefecture, and the Okinawa Industrial Promotion Public Corporation, they each play a role in making this happen. If Okinawa could serve as that hub to the world and truly was able to perform that function, then I believe that OIST will become a global base that's able to compete with other countries, and this will make the institute more competitive as a whole.
Yeah, I think the role of OIST in Okinawa is going to be very important, because if you look at other places, there are a number of sources that can help generate the R&D cluster. One are universities. The second one, as Julie mentioned, the military research, both in U.S. and in Israel, has created spun-off companies. For example, most people familiar with a company called Checkpoint in Israel that does firewalls throughout the world, and it started from such a project in the Israeli military. And then the third source of an R&D cluster is one big company that many people leave and start other companies. So usually, if you look at U.S., there in some areas a company that started some time ago became very big company, and then around it there are many competitors that are spun off from the same company. So if you look at Okinawa, there's no military research. And there are no major companies here that would spin out. So the only things that can exist, seems to me, in Okinawa is the Research Institute, OIST, and the technology they will bring to Okinawa.
Thank you, Dr. Sass. Now, Mr. Taira, from the standpoint of the Okinawa Prefecture, please. There was some talk earlier on this panel on OIST being internationally competitive, but I believe certain steps must be taken in order to win this competition. OIST is created by virtue of the Okinawa Promotion Act, and although the national government probably does not have this intention, the Okinawa Promotion Act is designed to promote the region of Okinawa. If you limit the university to the level of solely regional development and promotion, I believe you run into issues down the road. So since my time working at the prefectural office, I've advocated that the university be addressed as a matter of national policy, and in this way, as Mr. Tsukamoto said, we'll be able to make a lasting difference on the research environment and human resources of the university. This is of the utmost importance. And once that is addressed, the Okinawa Prefecture, the Okinawa Industry Promotion Public Corporation, or many other organizations, they have to be able to work together and communicate properly to ensure that the region itself is ready. No matter how good the research produced by the university is, if the region is not ready for it, it's not going to have the desired impact. We need to raise the level of the businesses here, and thus the venture support funds and business support we provide are all designed to produce that effect. And I would like to continue work on a system that will allow for continued communication and information exchange between these types of programs in the university so that the region will be ready to take on a cluster. Thank you, and now Ms. Julie.
I have a workshop later that deals with the very practical issues, and I'm a very optimistic person, but this is an absolutely beautiful place. But the fact is we have a brand new university that has yet to be accredited, undoubtedly will be, and is currently hiring. So I think the single most important thing that happens is to be creative enough with the kind of packages you offer that you get world-class research teams. In San Diego, we estimated bringing in a lab team would be at least a $5 million an effort to bring them in. And they'd bring in research money, et cetera. Now, this may be complicated because we're looking at a domestic situation rather than an international situation. But I do think hiring the very best people and then having a research breakthrough that everybody around the world needs to recognize will be very catalytic. The companies will come later. When Governor Bush established research institutes in Florida and people were saying, how many jobs will be created over what period of time? I said, that's not the point. If you want to build an innovation-driven industry, then what you do is you get the beginning right. And once you have that, you can create the seed corn that ultimately will create companies and jobs and a sustainable economy, which is the long-term goal. But I would point out that Mr. Yao's been doing what he's been doing for many years. San Diego's first life sciences company was created, yes, in about 1984. Qualcomm was created many years ago, and it has been a real engine for entrepreneurship and investment in private investment in San Diego. The University of California, San Diego, one of the youngest research universities in the top 10 in my country, is 50 years old. It's hard to believe. So I think the most important thing is to get the beginning right with the highest quality people you can find, and then have the staying power and reconsider your policies, your investment, your regulations, your incentives every single year, so that as you begin to see the results of this important initial effort, you continue to adapt to make sure that Okinawa is always competitive for the best kind of investment.
Thank you, Ms. Julie. And we're now at a good point in this discussion.